Hey, how you guys doing out there?
He's Lock. Thank you for joining us today for our second webinar in the Tele-Native Youth series. Today, we're going to be talking about the importance of physical well-being. This is the first of a two-part series, Movement is Medicine. I'm Huele, or Meadowlark. My English name is Nikki Petrie. I'm the Acting Executive Director at the Center for Native American Youth. I'm so honored to introduce you to my good friend and brother, Chance Rush. Chance is Hidatsa and a former college athlete. He prioritizes physical well-being and is a really inspiring family man. Moving forward, he's going to be joining the Center for Native American Youth Family as our moderator for our webinars. But before I hop off, I want to encourage all of you to get out and move today. Please take care of the body that Creator gave you. I promise you that you won't regret it. Leem Lynch Inchas Ba'us, and I hope you enjoy today's conversation.
Hey, how's everybody doing out there? Can everybody hear me? Okay, good. I am Chance Rush. It truly is an honor to be here, to be a part of this
Hey,
first
everybody.
segment. Hey.
Hi.
Okay. Hi. I apologize.
Thank you so much for joining us. I think that Chance is having a little bit of technical difficulties, so I'm going to go ahead and just get started until he's able to join us.
Are we there?
But before we do get started on our questions, Rosalie, can you introduce yourself first?
Sure. We are skated, Rosalie Fish Sixta, Buckleshuth Opshed. Hello, my name is Rosalie Fish. I'm 19 years old. I'm from the Muckleshoot Reservation and I'm enrolled in the Cowlitz tribe. I'm a high school runner from Muckleshoot Tribal School and now I run in college at Iowa Central.
Thank you, Chunku.
Hey, Nikki, how you doing?
Can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Chungku One Star. I am enrolled member here in Rosebud Sioux Tribe here in Rosebud, South Dakota. I am also representing the Oneida and Senator Nations as well, and I currently reside here in Rapid City, South Dakota.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Acacia.
Hi, guys.
Can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me today. My name is Acacia Red Elk. My Indian name is Acacia. It means young swan rising from the water. I come from the Umatilla tribe, Confederated Tribes of the Umatilla, Cayuse, and Walla Walla. Also have bloodlines from the Nez Perce and the Colville. I'm most well known as a champion jingle dancer. I traveled extensively to powwows and
Great. Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you all so much. Rosalie, your platform is so much more than just about running. Can you share with us the importance of activism through movement and a little bit about your story?
Yeah, sure. So I use my platform as a student athlete to raise awareness for the missing and murdered Indigenous women epidemic, along with other issues that affect Indigenous peoples. To me, it's super important to use movement as a form of activism because it also encompasses who I am, and as an athlete, how I am multidimensional and the things that I care about other than just athletic victories.
Thank you. So this question, buddy, how and prioritize movement and exercise to Native youth during the pandemic? Acacia, do you want to?
I'm sorry, it's cutting out a little.
Not Not a problem. So my question is, how are you prioritizing movement and physical well-being during the pandemic?
I'm not sure if that's my phone or like, is it out as you're listening to me?
You might want to try to mute your line if you're not going to answer. That might be a little bit difficult. But how you're prioritizing physical well-being among this pandemic? Anyone feel free to answer.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah, so as you know, like I became a yoga teacher about 5 years ago. So movement has definitely been a daily activity, mandatory for me lately. Powwow dancing was always a thing that I did every single day. Even when I wasn't at a powwow, I would put up a curtain in the living room and tell everybody to stay out of the living room for that time. And I would dance. And it's always been really important for me to stay active, because I think it's of utmost importance for us to have a healthy, capable body, because health means safety. And we want to ensure that we have a safe body. And so we want to make sure that we're strong. We want to make sure that we're flexible and well balanced, and that our our heart and our lung health is really healthy too. So especially during this time, people are under a lot of stress and a lot of fear, and that can have negative effects on our body. So it's really important for us to stay healthy. I've been posting some YouTube videos of powwow yoga just for, just some inspiration and ideas for people to get active in their own homes.
Thank you. Chanku?
Yeah, just to touch base off what Acacia shared as well. I grew up traveling to a lot of powwows. My parents, they traveled throughout the country, as well as up north into Canada, and as well as overseas, doing international shows. And so I was heavily involved in, powwows and, dancing, sharing our culture, and also educating, the public about our culture as well. And also on top of that, I grew up, being active in sports. Growing up on the reservation here in South Dakota, literally sports was one of the things that kept me sane as a kid growing up. And so for me, prioritizing my health is, major, because not only being physically fit, but that overall translates into being mentally strong, emotionally strong, and spiritually strong. And during this whole pandemic, a lot of people are dealing with a lot of stress, depression, maybe anxiety issues, and the way for me to deal with all of those circumstances is to stay active, whether it's in the gym, or going on a hike, or where I live in a rural area, in a small community called Two Strike, in the Rose Reservation. And I'm fortunate enough to have a river and a few lakes, essentially in my backyard. And so for me, it's easy to stay active, whether it's just hiking or riding horses. But yeah, I think being healthy in all aspects of wellness is definitely a major priority to me, as well as my family and also the community around me as well.
I think especially as, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Kasia.
Okay. I think especially as Native people, we have a lot of honor to uphold within our bodies and our minds,
Right.
and we have a message to continue to carry. And if we don't take care of our bodies, then how can we survive long enough to carry on that knowledge? Because we wait to get to an older age to gain all that knowledge. And sometimes you're not taking care of your body enough, but you're also really knowledgeable elder. And then you get sick, and then you might pass on before you ever really get to share that. And sometimes the next generation comes on that's more willing to learn. They've got more resources. They're more eager to learn. And then by the time that they're ready to learn that stuff, you might be gone already. And so it's really important for us to take care of our bodies now and continue, because we have to protect our resources, and we have to protect that information. And that means that we need to protect our body so that we can carry it on. That's the main importance as Native people, to really be healthy in our body and our mind, because we have so much important knowledge that can help the world in all kinds of ways. So it's really, it starts on a micro level because we want to look good and feel good individually, but then we take a macro level because we want to, it's not even just about us, it's about inspiring one another. And that's what this time and age is right now. So much inspiration going around, and people are realizing that they can inspire others, so they're embodying that, and they're being confident in themselves, and they're going out there and they're spreading inspiration. And it's just really, really important. Sorry, I lost my track of thought. I know I was going somewhere with
Inspiring. Thank you,
Happens to the
Akasia.
best of us. Yeah.
it's about the next generations, though. That's why we're pushing so hard.
Mhm.
Next generations, you know.
Yeah. Akasia, can you elaborate a little bit more, and anybody else feel free to chime in, about what role the seventh generation plays as far as physical and mental well-being in your practice?
Well, the seventh generation mentality means we want to ensure that everything we do today is going to protect our resources and ensure that our resources are going to be there, and they're going to be abundant and healthy for the future generations. It's about being safe and protected. And our body is like the earth. Our body is our own, each individual earth. And we have to protect our blood. We have to protect our streams. We've got to protect all these neurological passageways and the breath passageways and the brain and all of these things that work together in our body. And so we want to work out and take care of our mind and body, be healthy every day through activity, through studying and gaining more knowledge, through having a healthy diet and eating right, and just thinking healthy thoughts too, so that our body will get healthier, and we can also heal our body just like we can heal the earth. And if we do that, then we can ensure that we're passing on healthier DNA, healthier blood to our next generations, and we are changing the pattern and then creating new life, so that we're not continuing to pass down the trauma, because that's what's been happening. But we're in a generation where we're finally realizing that, oh crap, we have trauma and we can fix it. We don't have to just live like this and accept it. We can change it and we can rewrite our story. And so when we work on ourselves, mind, body, spirit, even if we've had a terrible life and we are terribly unhealthy, maybe people that have taken the wrong path in life and think it's too late, it's not. You can rewrite your story. You can create a healthier body and mind, which means that you're passing on that to the next generation. So when we're looking at our body in the way that we look at seven generation mentality, it means that we want to ensure that we're protecting this, so that 7 generations from now, they're going to be equipped with a healthy body, healthy mind, more balanced, more capable body, more agile body, more healthy body because we're eating right, and more healthy mind because we're thinking right, we're loving ourselves. And so it means that we're protecting this body for the next generations. Just like I said, we have to carry the knowledge. If we're not staying healthy and passing the knowledge down, then we're losing it. So it is to ensure the protection and safety of our culture, basically, and the culture and mindset of our future generations. So that's how it turns to macro level.
Thank you. Rosalie or Chanku, do you want to talk anything about seventh generation or have anything to add?
Hi. Yeah, I'll just say something really quick. I know that as I'm 19 years old, so I'm a little bit of the younger generation, but I can say without doubt that because of the work and the effort that the generations have put in before me, it has allowed a platform that allows me to exist as an advocate and as an activist. So without really, the work of advocates and Indigenous activists before me, I wouldn't be where I am today. In reality, like I am allowed to exist as who I am today because of the generations before me who have put in that work and who have made this progress where now I and generations below me will be able to thrive.
Thank you, Rosalie. True, you are such an inspiration. Your dancing, your commitment to physical well-being. What are some good resources that Native youth or community members can involve themselves if they don't have access to a gym or maybe don't go to their local wellness center?
Well, I think the easiest way is just to stay active, whether it's because the way I see it is any exercise is better than no exercise. And so for individuals that do not have access to a gym or equipment, just doing daily work around the house or um, in your yard, anything, any type of movement, can go a long way. Whether it's, like for me, um, I grew up with horses, so attending to the horses, riding horses. If you have pets, taking your dogs for a walk. Working on a garden, mowing the lawn, just daily activities like that to just keep your body moving. Especially when if you've been in quarantine and being in the house for weeks, just being able to be outside. It's now that the weather is finally getting consistently nice. I think it's any type of movement can go a long way, and even if you have any type of objects within your household, whether it's like a gallon of water, a gallon of milk. And I'm always joking around with my sisters and my mom, like, when in doubt, just lift up their sewing machine and do some type of lifts, or and so just find little ways to stay creative and stay innovative with movement. And if you have kids, whether it's just playing games in the yard, any type of um, like like playing tag or hide and seek or just playing basketball, especially with times like this when a lot of organizations, businesses, and gyms are still on restrictions. I think it's easy for individuals to kind of feel unmotivated to stay active, but um, any type of activity is better than no activity.
Thank you. Rosalie, your advocacy has been featured in TED Talk, Youth, and recently in Vice. When it comes to movement, what is your medicine? Where do you find your strength, and how has it helped you in your need?
So for me, my medicine is definitely undeniably running. It's something that grounds me every day. It connects me to the earth and it connects me to the runners in the generations before me. So it's something that I've talked a little bit about my TED Talk is how running healed me, especially when, and as far as the medicine circle goes, my emotional health and my spiritual health were really low. I could use running not only to amplify my physical health, but it also helped connect me to my spirituality and my emotions. And so that's what I would say is just undeniably running empowered me, and it has made me not only a healthy human being, but it has now made me an advocate as well.
Anybody else want to share what their medicine is or where they find their inspiration?
Yeah, can you hear me? Okay. Well, mine was always dancing. Well, when I was raised, I always took part in gymnastics. So I was always a part of a gymnastics gym for about 7 years. I caught on fire when I was a kid and burnt half of my body. It was really traumatizing for my family. And I never thought that I would go back to gymnastics.
Oh, did she freeze up?
Dancing saved my life.
Can you guys hear me?
Can you guys hear me?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. So I had kind of had a downward spiral after the fire because my dad also passed away soon after. And we just went into a downward spiral. And, you know, we were very rebellious for many years. And when I was about 16, 17, my sister got me into dancing and she started teaching me and coaching me. And I really wanted to become a jingle dancer. And I started practicing every day. And when I finally stepped foot into the circle, is when my life completely changed. I finally had found my place, and I found something that was positive and important, and it connected me to a circle that was big and that had importance and culture, right? And I was doing something that was good, and people were really happy to see me dancing. It made me feel good about myself. I think a lot of addictions, they, you know, obviously we know that that's not the root. There's a symptom. It's a symptom, and there's a root behind those addictions. Addictions are caused from not feeling good about yourself. So when I started powwow dancing, I started feeling good about myself and I stopped partying. And I did that for 10 years, raising my two kids, and it changed my whole life. It gave me um, reason, and it gave me confidence in my body and in my life, and it made me feel like I was useful in some way, because parents would come up with their kids and say, you know, my kid really appreciates watching you dance and such like that. So that was a big turning point for me, that those 10 years helping me to finally love myself. And then after the 10 years of just doing that nonstop, I moved back home as a single mother, and I fell back off again, and I started downward spiraling again. And I found yoga, and I never thought that I would do yoga. Um, I went into a class, and we were in class. I already know about spiritual healing. I know about the power of thought. I know that we can release things from our body with thought. And so she said, take a deep breath, gather up all those things that have been holding you down and let them go. And I just started crying. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is really something. And I have to get certified. So within like 6 months, I was certified. And it has become my mission to share yoga as a way to heal from historical trauma. And it is something that grounds you down, like she was saying about the running. It is also, the dancing grounds you. It connects you back to earth, just like the running does, just like riding horses does. And doing yoga and dancing and running, and when anything that you're doing where your heart is beating and you're pushing through something and you're connecting to earth, it's grounding for you. It brings you back to your source, to yourself. It's meditation in motion, because everything else goes out the window except for that next step or that next moment. So movement is truly medicine, and when we're moving, we're also moving blocked emotions. So when we get tired and we're ready to give up, we get triggered. We get triggered back to traumas that took place in our lives. Maybe we had abuse as the kids or whatever. And we sometimes will cry or get emotional after a workout, because it is such a great release. It's a healthy release, and it's a way that we can reclaim our body and our mind and start feeling good about ourselves, so we don't fall victim to addiction and dysfunction. Hi. sometimes the audio goes out. So wasn't sure if you guys were asking me a question or not.
I think Chance is working on getting back.
Okay, thank you so much, Acacia. We tried to get Chance to go back in, but I think his audio kept cutting out. So we're just gonna go with it. My question is for all of you. So I know as somebody who tries to, run and do yoga and, do self-care every day, that there's some days where I just wake up and I don't wanna do anything. We all have those days, we're all human. I'm gonna kick it to Chanku first and then ask Rosalie after. What keeps you motivated? What is inspiring to you to keep moving forward, even on days when you just don't have the energy to? How about Rosalie? What do you do to stay inspired?
I think
even
I'm
when you
having
don't
some
feel like
technical
going?
difficulties. I lost all audio. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me at all.
Uh-oh.
I can't hear you guys.
Yeah, we can hear you. Oh.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. If you want,
I can't hear you guys. I've lost audio for the past, I think, like a minute or two.
I'll answer this question, and then you can type the question for Chunku so he can answer
I'm like in the
afterwards.
middle of nowhere too, so that might be a problem.
Go ahead, Rosalie.
Okay. Yeah. So, what keeps me motivated, even on those days, I know exactly what you mean, where the bed is extra comfortable, maybe it's extra cold outside, something like that. That really wants to keep us away from our goals sometimes. For me, I found the thing that makes me tick, that keeps me up at night, and that I dream about, and that's the missing and murdered Indigenous women epidemic. It's something that has really impacted me ever since I've started to, even before I knew what it was, it has impacted me. Between women going missing, regularly attending funerals of young women as I was growing up, and now that I had gained the knowledge of what this epidemic is and why it exists, and more importantly, how I can contribute to change, it is the one thing that will keep me going, no matter the cost or no matter the path in front of me. Sometimes I think it's a lot easier to run and to work for other people rather than yourself.
Thank you so much. Acacia, what do you do on days when you just don't feel like getting out of bed?
Yeah, I can totally relate. I don't want to get up. I've always been not a morning person. And I feel like we're coming out of the alarm clock generation where we've been hitting snooze for a long time because it's more comfortable to stay in your bed where it's warm. Responsibility can be scary and intimidating sometimes. And when you're laying in bed, sometimes the easiest thing to do is hit snooze or completely miss an appointment or something important. Later on, you wake up like, oh my God, I can't believe I was so tired. I couldn't get up to do that. So the hardest part is showing up, even if it's showing up to the day. I always tell people in the yoga classes, like the hardest part is showing up to your yoga mat, even if you're just setting your mat up in your living room. But we're nearing the end of the alarm clock generation where we're beginning to stop hitting snooze and we're getting up. It's going to make me cry. We're getting up out of bed and we're standing up to face the day. And it's not easy and it's scary. And there's so much going on in today's world. It's hard to keep up with daily activities and stay on track, right? And then there's all the other side stuff. So showing up for yourself is number one. Man, after you show up for yourself, you're going to feel so good. It's basically holding yourself accountable every single day. Gosh, I've always been a lazy person. I don't know how I've done half the things I've done because I always want to stay in bed and I always get scared about responsibility. Anytime that I have to speak in front of people or teach a class or like get up and dance, I get really, really nervous. And people probably don't know that about me, but dang, I get really scared, and especially for speaking stuff. So I will want to run away, but I do it anyways. And the best feeling is the afterwards when you're so proud of yourself for facing the challenge and stepping outside of your comfort zone, because we can't grow if we keep getting scared and saying no and letting the other person, no, you talk, you do it. You know, it's easy to do that, but if we can stand up and show that we have something to say and that we are of important use to the world as Indigenous people, we just have a lot of work to do. And if we don't get up and do it, somebody else is going to do it. And we have voice that we need to use. And yeah, I think the days that you didn't want to get up and do your workout end up being the best workouts that you've ever had.
You know, Acacia, I have admired you for so many years, and I just respected you so much, whether it's the floor or seeing you with yoga, and seeing how it transformed your life. And I wanted to take a moment to thank you for your honesty and vulnerability. That was really beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nikki.
Chanku, do you have audio back again, Chanku? Can you hear us now?
So for days when I am unmotivated is a good question, because believe it or not, I'm unmotivated maybe 5 to 6 days out of the week. I'm not gonna lie, but um, just to keep things in perspective, um, what I do for myself personally, I set a lot of short-term goals, um, just to keep me on track. And the thing that really helped me was to plan my workouts, to set a specific time out of the day instead of just like waking up and just figuring out when I'm going to work out. I feel like it's easier when you set a time. It helps me stay more disciplined and keeps myself accountable, to reach my goals. And also, uh, when I am absolutely unmotivated, when the gas is just empty, I turn to YouTube. Um, YouTube saves my life a lot of the time. Um, I like to watch, documentaries, and especially a lot of my favorite athletes. I like to see videos on their work ethic, or like a day in the life of how they train and how they prepare for, games, and just the mentality of it. The physical aspect of it is, um, sometimes the easy part. The hard part is getting your mind ready and getting your mind focused to, go out there for an hour or two and just, put your body through a nice workout. And a lot of the times, the workout is actually the easiest part of the day, because, nutrition is everything, recovery, sleep. And, I'm sure you guys might know, especially I know Acacia can relate, especially, traveling to powwows, sometimes you only get 2 to 3 hours of sleep, and then you got to drive 12 hours the next day or that same night. And so, traveling a lot, whether it was for powwows or whether when I was in school playing football, traveling was definitely a obstacle for me to figure out, as far as, preparing my body, making sure I'm fully healthy, as far as, my sleep, my recovery, my nutrition. So like now, since like this whole quarantine has literally made the days feel twice as long, um, I turn to YouTube. I find videos, whether they're athletes, whether they're entertainers, performers, or even Instagram, and I see a lot of Acacia's content. I see her posting videos, almost daily, and I'm just like, man, this lady's just always going for it. So just seeing people that I know personally as well, on social media, whether it's other dancers, whether it's, old teammates, whether it's friends and family from my reservation. When I see them share their workouts or share their goals or share their journey, that just motivates me more to get out and stay active, so I can be a part of that circle to inspire others. And I have a 10-year-old son, and so for me, I want to lead by example for him, being able to not just tell him, but show him, that you gotta, work for what you want. It's gonna take, it's not always fun, but it makes the journey much more appreciative when you reach your goals, whether it's daily or weekly or yearly. And so for me, it's easy to get unmotivated. I'm not gonna lie, I'm human. But at the same time, I'm surrounded by positive influences everywhere I go, whether it's physical health, mental health, spiritual health. And here on the reservation, we have uh, a lot of individuals that are culturally active as well, and so that motivates me even more, because that sense of spirituality and that cultural unity is what we want our future generations to hold on to as well. And so, and for me, with my background in kinesiology, my emphasis is human performance and sports nutrition. And so the physical wellness was always, I said, comes naturally, but when it becomes every aspect of wellness, I'm surrounded by, a lot of friends and family that I looked up to, or that I idolized. And so for me, I just want to keep that momentum going so that the youth and the future generations, behind us can also hang on to that mentality. And so that way, we're not just preparing for, tomorrow or next week. We want to make sure our people are good, generations and decades from here. And so, and it just takes one day at a time, one workout at a time, one healthy meal or one healthy choice at a time. It's just, like what Kasi mentioned earlier, it's at the like with the macro level and micro level. It's just one day at a time, and just making sure you constantly make these healthy choices, whether it's in and out of the gym or whether it's in and out of the fridge. Just being able to train your mind to become more consistent with healthy choices, so that way not only ourselves, but our family and those that look up to us can also have healthier lifestyles as well. And sorry, I
Thank
kind
you
of
so
rambled on a
much,
little bit. My
Jungkook.
mind was just like
Uh,
wandered.
I love it. Thank you. You had talked about the importance of connecting to culture, and especially as Indigenous people, when it comes to physical well-being, our culture is rooted in everything that we do. And so, Rosalie, when I first got into running, and by no means am I like Rosalie Fish style running, but I had reached out to a couple members of the community, and they had said, our people have always been runners. And so there are just stories of warriors running, 50 some miles to share something with the community. And so I feel this kind of cultural connection. And I wonder if you can talk a little bit and share a little bit more about what the connection to the earth and connecting to your culture, how that fuses together for you in running.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that for me, running is medicine because just like also like what Acacia said, how it's a form of meditation, and for some runners, especially runners for MMIW, it's running is a form of prayer. It's a form of believing in something. Like for some of us, it's the creator. It's putting our thoughts, our most vulnerable emotions out there as we run, and getting the expression out and putting it back into the earth. And so I would definitely say that my running is connected to my culture. As I was growing up and running in high school, I had elders who would tell me and remind me that he said our runners were our messengers. They were the connectors between our tribes and our people and our communities. And so that was something that always kept me going in high school, especially, is he reminded me that when I run, I connect my people.
God, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. I love that our runners are messengers, because I can see you delivering message in such a powerful way. So thank you so much. Acacia, how do you fuse together jingle dress and yoga? Can you talk a little bit more about your YouTube channel and a little bit more about booty yoga? Am I saying that right? Booty yoga? Buddy yoga?
Yeah, booty yoga is the inspired powwow yoga.
Oop, did she freeze up again? She may have frozen. Can you guys hear me okay?
I can. I know Toku is still kind of struggling with the audio.
Okay, that might be it. What else do you do aside from running, Rosalie, to kind of take care of yourself? Because I know as a collegiate athlete, it might kind of turn into work almost, right? Sometimes, like what other means of self-care do you do?
So I would say that for self-care, not only is running a form of my self-care, but it's I have to take other means to ensure that I can keep running, right? Like I have to take care of my legs and my feet and my lungs in order to make sure that I can continue running and continue healing myself and hopefully healing others to the best of my ability. And so things like taking care of your body when it's hurt. So like doing ice baths, rolling out my legs, especially in going and visiting my trainers when they're available. Really just doing everything I can and understanding that my platform and my ability to perform as an athlete directly impacts how well I can raise awareness for the missing and murdered Indigenous women epidemic.
Thank you. If there was something that you would like for people to know, about this epidemic or about running and, using physical well-being as activism, what is a message that you would like to share?
I would say that as Indigenous people, especially, sometimes we underestimate ourselves. We are surrounded by misrepresentations. We're surrounded by trauma, and we're constantly misunderstood. And so I would say the most powerful thing we can do right along with moving is believing in ourselves first and believing that that movement will be powerful and impactful for ourselves, for our communities, and for the general public.
Wow, thank you so much for those words. We had a little bit of technical difficulties. Acacia popped off, Chunku popped off, but that's okay.
Okay, now I can see Chunku.
I want to just thank you so much. God, you have completely inspired me. Thinking, I guess, on that realm of inspiration, what words of advice would you give to any young people who might just be getting into running? Maybe they've just got some running shoes. They don't quite know where to start. What words of encouragement would you give them?
I would say that not every path is straightforward. I started running in middle school, and I was the little middle school superstar, and then by the time high school had come around, my freshman year, I had some trauma come up and I started to go downhill, right? And everything looked like the end for me, yet in ninth grade. And that would have, if you had looked at my journey, it would have gone up and then stopped. But in reality, I had recovered from my trauma or I guess I should say I recovered from my slope, my downfall, my spiral, and I found running again. And so I would say not every path to your journey is going to be completely straight or completely predictable, but know that your journey is individual and unique, and it will come with ups and downs, but you will become stronger from those ups, and so strong, in fact, that you will not only be able to raise yourself from those experiences, but you will be able to raise and educate others as well.
That is so powerful. Oh my gosh, I'm tearing up just listening to that, because I think society just kind of has this image of what everything's supposed to look like. In reality, how you said, there's actually ups and downs, and you know, our journey, it may not be this straightforward pace, but it's going to be so much more meaningful and so much more worthwhile, and you appreciate it so much more because of the obstacles that you may have faced. But, you know, just thank you so much for that. And I guess, you know, what's next for you, you know, with your school and for your running, what's in store for you? What's the next season going to be like for you?
So I'll be entering as a sophomore in college this coming fall, and I'm excited to be able to compete for real this time, hopefully in track this coming time, because since that opportunity was cut a little bit short. And most importantly, I'm in community college, so I'm going to be transferring to a 4-year university and running for a bigger division than junior college division. And I'm really excited to get an even bigger platform to continue to raise awareness and to continue to be hopefully a role model for the other Indigenous youth who don't see Native athletes out there on these bigger platforms and these bigger divisions.
Wow. You know, there's so many young people. I know we had talked on the phone earlier. There are so many young people from the Northwest who you have just completely inspired. And, you know, so many more people are going to want to do track because they're going to, I want to be like Rosalie. I want to run like Rosalie. So just thank you so much for inspiring the next generation. I apologize greatly to our viewers who, for all the technical difficulties, and, you know, just really want to uplift Rosalie, Chanku, and Acacia, and thank you. Thank you so much for all of your work. We have seen that movement truly is medicine. It's not just physical well-being, it's cultural, it's mental. Everything is interconnected, and that we need to make sure that we're taking care of the body that Creator gave us. We're going to go ahead and close out a little bit early just because of technical difficulties. So thank you so much. If anybody has any topics that they would like for us to talk about in the future, or if they would like to be a featured speaker, please shoot us an email at cnayinfo@aspeninstitute.org. Please be sure to take care of yourself. Rosalie, do you have anything you want to close out with?
Not much. Not anything super fast. I would just say remembering that your medicine wheel is important, and to I guess take care of all four pieces of yourself.
Thank you. All right, well, everybody, please go out and move today. Be sure to tune in next week where we'll be having part 2 of physical well-being. We promise we won't have as many technical difficulties, but you know how it is sometimes on the res, it goes in and out of the service, but we just make do with what we got. Thank you, Limlint and Jesper Us. Have great days.